I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
Ever wondered what drives ordinary people to do extraordinary things? Every week, a new story unfolds. But these aren't just stories. They are the journeys of courage, resilience, and vision. On Impact Stories, we open the door to remarkable personalities and everyday heroes. Experience the passion behind their purpose. Witness the setbacks, the breakthroughs, and the moment that defines a legacy. Journey with us on AAU TV every Saturday at 4 p.m. as we celebrate those who are making an impact. Tune in to Impact Stories, where real people share real journeys and real impact, each one leaving behind a legacy written in gold. Only on AAU TV.
Africa is rising through knowledge, culture, innovation, and through our universities. This May 25th, African Union Day, we gather again. The Association of African Universities Television, AAU-TV, invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a space where scholarship meets policy, student voices shape continental dialogue, where Africa's brightest minds and boldest ideas come together to drive Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And this year, we are spotlighting the theme that touches every home, every school, every clinic, every community, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Expect a high-level dialogue on water security, sanitation, climate resilience, and human capital. A youth forum, because climate action starts local and youth are leading the way. A research and innovation pitch showcase, where innovators present practical solutions for safe water and sanitation to mentors, funders, and investors. And cultural moment that celebrates Africa's heritage, our identity, our pride. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m. GMT. Join us in person at the AAU Secretariat, Accra, or virtually from anywhere in the world. Register now to celebrate African scholarship and own our future.
You're welcome to the Hello Africa Morning Show. My name is Jemima Deladem Doche, and we are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. And now to our top African stories. President John Dramani Mahama has signed the Legal Education Reform Bill 2025 into law, ending the Ghana School of Law 66-year monopoly on professional legal education. The new law establishes a Council for Legal Education and Training, which replaces the General Legal Council and will accredit universities to offer professional law courses on LLB holders seeking to sit the bar examination. Attorney General Dominic Ayine said implementation begins immediately, starting with the establishment of the new council. He also added that budgetary provision for full implementation would be made in the 2027 budget to be announced by the Prime Minister in November.
The reform has been long in coming. The previous legislation, the Legal Profession Acts of 1960, had governed legal education for over 6 decades, at a time when the University of Ghana was the only institution awarding a law degree, producing an average of just 70 students a year, all of whom were automatically absorbed into the Ghana School of Law. That landscape has since changed dramatically. A memorandum attached to the bill noted that a growing number of universities now offer the Bachelor of Laws degree, producing far more graduates than the Ghana School of Law could accommodate. The memorandum further noted that a considerable number of Ghanaians had also obtained law degrees from other common law jurisdictions, including the United Kingdom, the United States, South Africa, Australia, India, and Nigeria, further stretching the capacity of the existing system. Speaking after the bill passed in Parliament on March 26, Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga described it as the fulfillment of a key campaign promise, saying the government had pledged to law students that, if voted into power, it would carry out reforms ensuring equity, fairness, and access to legal education, and has successfully delivered on that promise. Not everyone has welcomed the changes without reservation. Critics raised concerns that the reform could dilute the quality of legal training. However, Majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dapiamokpa dismissed those concerns, insisting the new law introduced stricter requirements for both institutions and students, making the path to becoming a lawyer more demanding, not less. He nonetheless urged caution in implementation, warning that the law's success would depend largely on execution rather than its intent on paper. The new Council for Legal Education and Training will be composed of members of the Ghanaian Bar and academia. The Attorney General will remain the minister responsible for legal education and training, with accreditation of qualifying law schools expected to begin before the end of this year.
Moving on, Ghana has imposed an immediate 10-year ban on the export of raw natural rubber in a decisive move to protect local factories, preserve jobs, and strengthen industrial growth. The directive by the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry is designed to stop the depletion of raw materials needed by domestic processors and curb under-invoicing practices blamed for losses in the sector. Government says the policy will also channel more rubber into local manufacturing, support its industrialization agenda, and create long-term economic value through local processing.
The ban aligns with several government programs, including the Accelerated Export Development Program, the Feed the Industry Agenda, and the 24-Hour Economy Program, all aimed at boosting local processing, industrial activity, and job creation. As part of consultations ahead of enforcement, Minister Ofosu Ajari convened a stakeholder meeting last Tuesday with rubber farmers, processors, association representatives, and officials from the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Tree Crops Development Authority. Notable among the attendees were GRA Commissioner General Anthony Kwesi Sapon and TCDA Chief Executive Dr. Andy Okra. At the engagement, the minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to building an industrialized Ghana where raw materials are sourced, manufactured, and processed locally. She urged stakeholders to comply with the ban and assured them that her ministry would work with relevant agencies to address bottlenecks across the rubber value chain. The GRA Commissioner General, for his part, encouraged all participants to work collectively to safeguard their businesses and strengthen the industry. The ban comes against a troubling financial backdrop. Out of 673.9 million Ghana cedis disbursed under the rubber outgrower plantation project in 2 phases, only about 12% of those loans have been recovered since 2006, leaving nearly 595 million cedis, close to 88%, still outstanding. Industry players including the Agricultural Development Bank, the National Investment Bank, and key rubber associations had jointly petitioned 3 ministers for urgent intervention, citing widespread under-invoicing as a key driver of the push for a total export ban.
A young food security researcher from the University of KwaZulu-Natal is challenging the way Africa trains its agricultural scientists. Dr. Bright Mukwadeya urges that universities are advertently pushing young people away from agriculture rather than drawing them in by failing to reflect the realities of modern food systems. His research calls for a fundamental shift from narrow production-focused curricula to a broader food system approach that integrates public health, economics, sustainability, and governance. He also warns that most PhD research never reaches the policymakers who need it most.
Mukwadeya identifies a dangerous disconnect at the heart of agricultural education. Universities, he argues, still treat agriculture as a subsistence activity rather than a modern economic opportunity, driving low youth engagement in a sector critical to food security across the continent. He calls for a curricula that go beyond crop production to cover processing, distribution, consumption, and waste management, alongside practical skills in agribusiness, digital agriculture, and policy literacy. Internships, incubation programs, and government placements, he adds, are just as essential as classrooms instruction. His most striking finding is that most PhD research never influences policy because it is written for academic audience rather than decision makers. He recommends training doctoral students to produce policy briefs and placing them directly within government departments. Ultimately, Mukwadeya's research makes a simple but urgent case. For doctoral education to drive real agricultural transformation in Africa, it must move out of the classroom and into the system.
East Africa has taken a major step towards a coordinated approach to artificial intelligence with the formal launch of the East African Community Artificial Intelligence Alliance. The initiative, led by the Inter-University Council for East Africa in collaboration with the East African Science and Technology Commission and supported by the Germany Agency for International Development, was unveiled at a regional science, Technology and Innovation Conference in Kigali, Rwanda. The alliance aims to bring government, universities, industry, and development partners under a single regional framework, replacing the fragmented country-by-country approach that has limited the continent's AI ambitions.
Launched alongside the alliance was its first flagship initiative, the Regional Network on Artificial Intelligence in Education and Research, structured around 3 pillars: advancing transdisciplinary AI research, integrating practice-based curricula with industry-relevant skills, and supporting gender-responsive policies for responsible AI adoption. Organizers say the network's ultimate goal is to position East Africa as a competitive global contributor to emerging technologies rather than merely a consumer of them. It will target urgent regional challenges including food security, public health, and environmental degradation ensuring that research translates into tangible socioeconomic benefits. The alliance builds on the foundation of the Digital Skills for an Innovative East African Industry project, under which 4,000 young people across Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo were trained in digital skills. That project also engaged more than 300 private sector partners and 100 universities. Acting IECA Executive Secretary Idris Rai described the network as a collaborative platform for developing an AI-skilled workforce through teaching, research, capacity building, and community engagement. EAC Deputy Secretary General Andre Agueya Arik Malouet called the alliance a turning point, marking a decisive shift from fragmented national efforts to scalable regional action. GIZ Rwanda's Norman Chappell, however, offered a measured note of caution, stressing that AI is not a fix-all solution, but rather a tool whose value depends entirely on how well the region builds the skills to apply it. Following the launch, universities across EAC member states have been invited to express interest in hosting network nodes, which are intended to become East Africa's future centers of excellence in artificial intelligence.
Four Kenyan university students have invented a device that captures toxic pollutants from medical incinerators and converts them into bricks and construction blocks. The innovation, called EcoScrubber, was conceived by fourth-year Mount Kenya University student Wesley Njenga, Franklin Mungwa, Elijah Mena, and Voda Chirinye, after witnessing firsthand the scale of emission from hospital incinerators during a field visit in 2024. The team has since been selected as finalists in the prestigious Wiggy Prize, competing on May 15th for a share of $65,000 prize pool against teams of 5 continents.
The students say what they encountered during those hospital visits was not simply smoke, but a critical gap in accessible and effective emission control systems. They chose to approach the problem not merely as an engineering challenge, but as a public health crisis affecting real communities. EcoScrubber is a hybrid air pollution control and carbon capture system designed specifically for high-risk environments such as hospital incinerators. It combines dry scrubbing to remove particulate matter with a dual-stage wet scrubbing system that uses acidic and alkaline processes to absorb harmful gases. Project lead Wesley Njenga says that from early testing and modeled performances, EcoScrubber reduces particulate matter by up to 95%, sulfur dioxide by up to 90%, and captures approximately 50% of carbon dioxide through mineralization pathways. What sets the device apart is what happens next. The captured pollutants are not discarded. Instead, the absorbed carbon dioxide is mixed with chemical compounds to form stable solid carbonates, similar in composition in limestone, which are then processed into bricks, pavers, and building blocks. Pollution, in effect, becomes permanent infrastructure. On costs, the device is priced between $4,000 and $7,000, a fraction of the $30,000, or more than conventional emission control system typically costs. Njenga notes that more than 70% of its materials can be sourced locally, making it practical to deploy across low and middle-income settings where affordability determines adoption. Its modular design also means it can scale from a rural clinic to a large urban hospital or industrial facility. The team's immediate plan is to begin pilot deployment in healthcare facilities where the need is most urgent and impact can be clearly measured before expanding into industrial and municipal application. For the students, EcoSquaba represents something larger than a student project. It is proof that Africa is not simply adopting innovation developed elsewhere, but building systems with both local relevance and global application.
That is all for the top African stories. My name is Jemima Deladem Duche. Up next is News Review. Stay tuned.
Africa is rising through knowledge, culture, innovation, and through our universities. This May 25th, African Union Day, we gather again. The Association of African Universities Television, AAU-TV, invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a space where scholarship meets policy, student voices shape continental dialogue, where Africa's brightest minds and boldest ideas come together to drive Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And this year, we are spotlighting the theme that touches every home, every school, every clinic, every community, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Expect a high-level dialogue on water security, sanitation, climate resilience, and human capital. A youth forum, because climate action starts local and youth are leading the way. A research and innovation pitch showcase, where innovators present practical solutions for safe water and sanitation to mentors, funders, and investors. And cultural moment that celebrates Africa's heritage, our identity, our pride. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 23rd, 2026 at 10 a.m. GMT. Join us in person at the AAU Secretariat, Accra, or virtually from anywhere in the world. Register now to celebrate African scholarship and own our future.
Ever wondered what drives ordinary people to do extraordinary things? Every week, a new story unfolds. But these aren't just stories. They are the journeys of courage, resilience, and vision. On Impact Stories, we open the door to remarkable personalities and everyday heroes. Experience the passion behind their purpose. Witness the setbacks, the breakthroughs, and the moments that defines a legacy. Journey with us on AAU TV every Saturday at 4 p.m. as we celebrate those who are making an impact. Tune in to Impact Stories, where real people share real journeys and real impact, each one leaving behind a legacy written in gold. Only on AAU TV.
Africa is rising through knowledge, culture, innovation, and through our universities. This May 25th, African Union Day, we gather again. The Association of African Universities Television, AAU-TV, invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a space where scholarship meets policy, student voices shape continental dialogue, where Africa's brightest minds and boldest ideas come together to drive Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And this year, we are spotlighting the theme that touches every home, every school, every clinic, every community, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Expect a high-level dialogue on water security, sanitation, climate resilience, and human capital. A youth forum, because climate action starts local and youth are leading the way. A research and innovation pitch showcase, where innovators present practical solutions for safe water and sanitation to mentors, funders, and investors. And cultural moment that celebrates Africa's heritage, our identity, our pride. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 23rd, 2026 at 10 a.m. GMT. Join us in person at the AAU Secretariat, Accra, or virtually from anywhere in the world. Register now to celebrate African scholarship and own our future.
Hey, so this is Dishant from Unica University Common Application. I recommend you to watch AAU television.
AAU TV is the place to be for every person in higher education in Africa. Better be there or be nowhere.
Continuez de regarder la télé et surtout sur le AAU.
Keep watching it, and it will change the way you interact with higher education on the continent. AAU, great job.
I want to tell you that AAU television is fantastic, it's educative, it's informative, and it is a must for anybody who is interested in higher education in Africa.
When I was in Accra last year, I did an interview on this TV. It's a very important mouthpiece.
It's a data, it's a bank of all we need for the development of higher education in Africa.
People should make an effort to view it because it discusses very current issues of development across the continent.
I believe that the station will continue to promote the overall development of Africa, particularly in the tertiary education sector.
AAU TV provides a platform and shares a lot of information to a broader audience. So we wish you all the best, and please continue serving AAU TV,
the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hiya, this is Hello Africa. Keep watching AAU TV. Ciao.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
Africa is rising through knowledge, culture, innovation, and through our universities. This May 25th, African Union Day, we gather again. The Association of African Universities Television, AAU TV, invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a space where scholarship meets policy, student voices shape continental dialogue, where Africa's brightest minds and boldest ideas come together to drive Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And this year, we are spotlighting a theme that touches every home, every school, every clinic, every community, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Expect a high-level dialogue on water security, sanitation, climate resilience, and human capital. A youth forum, because climate action starts local and youth are leading the way. A research and innovation pitch showcase, where innovators present practical solutions for safe water and sanitation to mentors, funders, and investors. And cultural moment that celebrates Africa's heritage, our identity, our pride. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m. GMT. Join us in person at the AAU Secretariat, Accra, or virtually from anywhere in the world. Register now to celebrate African scholarship and own our future.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water. Share the love and be good.
Watching the Hello Africa morning show. We are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. And this is the news review session. Now, before we start, I would like to re-emphasize on our invitation to you all to join us on the 25th of May, which is next week, Monday. Come so that we join together and then discuss the AU theme of this year, which is sustainable water availability and also safe sanitation, to help us, contribute to achieving the Agenda 2063. And this is a theme that cuts across every sector, our homes, schools, everywhere. So come join us and then let's deliberate on the solutions, recommendations. This is a platform where your voice can be heard. And so my name is Isabella Titahinakwa, and with this session, I am doing it with Mr. Nkunim Adom Kwabena Yeboah, who is a student of the University of Ghana. Nkunim Yeboah, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
It's good to have you again.
Thank you.
For today's session. Now, our first story focuses on Ghana banning raw rubber exportation for 10 years. Now, diving into the main story, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry has announced an immediate 10-year ban on the export of raw natural rubber from Ghana in a move aimed at strengthening local manufacturing and industrial processing. Now, the directive, signed by Trade Minister Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjari, follows a cabinet decision under the government's Accelerated Export Development Program. Now, according to the ministry, the policy is intended to ensure local rubber processing factories have adequate raw materials to sustain production, create jobs, and also support Ghana's industrialization agenda. The ban will be enforced by agencies, including the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Police Service, and the Tree Crops Development Authority. So this is the main story on this trending news, which is Ghana banning the exportation of raw rubber for almost 10 years. We also have other interesting stories, and I'd like to take this first because we have a guest we will be engaging on. So this is the Ghana's Rent Control Department moving around, I think in Accra and Kumasi, trying to engage hostel managers to understand, especially the excessive amounts they take students. And so the Rent Control Department recently launched a nationwide exercise to investigate and also regulate what it describes as excessive and exploitative hostel charges affecting university students across Ghana. Now, the intervention follows growing public concerns over the sharp increase in hostel accommodation fees particularly around major universities such as the University of Ghana and UPSC. Now, according to the acting rent commissioner, Frederick Opoku, some private hostels near the University of Ghana currently charge as high as 24,000 annually for a single occupancy room with air conditioning, while shared room can cost students up to 10,000 each. And so this is a major issue that students are currently facing in Ghana. And so this government, especially the Rent Control Department, took upon themselves to go around, go to town, Kumasi and Accra, to engage some of the students and also owners of private hostels to understand what the situation is. And we are privileged to have with us a guest who is a student to share his experience with us. Hello. Hello, please, can you hear me? Okay. All right, okay. So we are still working on getting the guests for this story. And so I'll move to the first story that I read, which is Ghana banning rubber exportation for about 10 years. Inkunim Adam, let me call you Abua. Yeah, so this is currently what the government, a strategy the government has put in place to ensure that at least our raw materials are being some values are added to them before we can even export. So this time we are not just exporting raw materials, but maybe a finished goods or products or materials that have some added values to it. What's your take in this? I would want to hear from you before I bring in my mind.
All right, so thank you. I think that's a good approach, because if it's a global phenomenon that African countries do not necessarily process their goods, I think it's going to be a thing that on the international market, we're never going to have that good bargaining power to be able to get the best deals for our countries in the long run. So I think if the step is to actually increase the capacity that we have to process these goods, I think it's a good thing in the first place. Because you're looking at the amount of money that we are losing annually that could be contributed to our GDP and help develop a lot of things in the country, going to waste mainly because we cannot process these goods. So if the government has a good strategy to build up more factories to process these goods, and then the ban still lasts for quite a good amount of years, I think it's a good step.
Great. So talking about if the government will be able or can even support developing manufacturing companies. Now, so to me, I think this, I'll touch on that, but I think this is a very good opportunity. It gives us the chance to, as you said, to instead of sending raw materials, we rather put values to it. We rather change it into something, a finished product, before exporting. But the question is, are we really ready for that? Do we have the capacity in terms of skills, not just even the infrastructure, but in terms of the skills? When it comes to the people, of course, we are there. We have people ready to to be employed. But do they have the specific skills to let's take the rubber as an example. Do they have specific skills to ensure that at least something can be manufactured from the raw materials? And then talking about the infrastructure or the manufacturing companies, currently there are just 4 companies that we know. So active for rubber processing factories. So we have the GWEL, we have the Nerubis Limited, we have the Rubber Plantations Ghana Limited, and then we have the Apex Rubber Processing. So far, these are the active 4 industries available. But earlier this year, the government also licensed 7 other processing industries who are yet to start working. So if we are saying for about 10 years we are not going to export our raw materials. Hence, we are going to, process them into other products. Do we have the capacity? Do we have the skills? Do we have the resource to ensure that it is not just we going to hoard the raw materials, which in the end may be spoiled, or we may even end up throwing them away, or we may even end up not using it as it's supposed to be used, or when exported to other countries? What do you think on this?
So first off, we can agree that the number of companies or places available to process these goods are not so many. We have just about 11 from the 7 and the initial 4. So the question then has to do with the quantity that each company can process. When we have all these data being put into place, that's when we can have very good conversations about whether or not they can actually process good quantities and export them in the long run. So the quantity that every company can produce is a very good factor.
Yeah.
Next off has to do with where we're going to send these materials to, where we're going to export them to. Should make sure that we have ready buyers at very good rates, and then we can have them function on the long run.
Yeah, and another thing is, some of the farmers, this is the ways, or this is one way they kind of generate income. I mean, exportation is a bit pricey compared to if they are to sell it. Yes, they are to sell it internally. Here, the processor is going to have the bargaining power. If you say, if you are not going to sell to me, you can't export it. So, I mean, reduce the price for, so to it's not just about we not exporting or we banning exportation. However, we need to look internally to ensure that we just discussed about manufacturing companies, processing companies. Are there rules and regulations to ensure that pricing is standardized, and to ensure that, I mean, there is a right procedure to even procure these raw materials, and not just you walking to the farm and saying, I want to purchase raw materials. And also, like I mentioned, some of the farmers, these are ways that they can generate some good amount of money. Hence, if you are stopping them, is this not going to increase the level of smuggling of these raw materials to other countries?
Yeah. So smuggling is actually one of the possible consequences of something of the sort, but that would result in the fact that the existing structures are not really being used or do not necessarily favor the farmers in the first place. But I believe that before stuff like this, or decisions as critical as these are taken, there has to be engagement with the farmers, the stakeholders, those involved in the processing, the extraction, the harvesting of such materials. So I think that has been done, but if it hasn't, then I think that these individuals owe it to themselves to make as much money as possible. That's where smuggling comes in. So we need to make sure that these structures work and are benefiting the people that really produce these things in the first place.
Right. So we have here that this is not just happening in terms of banning of raw materials. This is not happening only in Ghana. I think there are some African countries who are also trying to ban exportation and then process their raw materials. And if they are going to export, it is going to be a final product, or a product that has some values rather than the raw material. So an example is Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana have both previously introduced a policy encouraging local cocoa processing instead of exporting the raw cocoa beans. We also have Zimbabwe, banning the export of raw lithium, and that was in 2022, to encourage local battery and mineral processing industry. We also have Indonesia, though that one is outside Africa, but it's mostly often cited globally for restricting raw nickel export. And so these are some countries, Zimbabwe, Cote d'Ivoire, and then Ghana, trying to, retain their materials rather than exporting. Would you recommend these to, I'm talking about continental, would you recommend this action to other countries, especially high exportation rate, level of rate? Maybe, for example, let's say Ghana, we have gold, we are still exporting these raw materials. So maybe Nigeria have oil, maybe they export raw materials. So, countries with products that has there's a lot of attention on when it comes to exportation. Would you recommend they banning exporting the raw materials to rather add values to it and then export final product? Look at other challenges before, consider other challenges before you give your answer.
Actually, yeah, so I think the very first priority of any government is that it owes to its people every decision that could improve the lives of the people. So as long as it's going to give people employment, it's going to make the farmers have a higher bargaining power, it's going to make the lives of people better. And this is the only decision. It's probably most often a last resort. It's not the first thing that they are going to think about, but the thing they believe is the most contributing factor to make the lives of the people better. Now, looking at situations like these, I think it depends on the kind of ban. If it's a permanent ban, then that has a different conversation on its own. But if it's one that is for just a short period, maybe a 5-year span, 6, 7, maybe a 10-year span as well, I think countries do have very good bilateral relations and can negotiate on these terms, whether or not it favors them or not. Because I think recently we had Burkina Faso declining the exportation of tomatoes, but we had some conversations with them, and for a period we were allowed to have some tomatoes from their side. So I think bilateral and multilateral relations also have diplomacy has a role to play in all of these things.
Okay, so so what you are suggesting is if this ban should happen, maybe some negotiations can go on to avoid because maybe the other country also needs it.
Exactly.
And I like the fact that you focus on Africa and not just the Western, not the Western, because we are talking about after intra movement, intra trade, among others, and so. Let's say African countries can collaborate together to export to their countries and not them abandon it forever and forever, or to no countries. So I like these recommendations you've given. And also what I will also add to this is that maybe the government should pair the ban with support of local processes. Maybe it shouldn't be a decision taken by the government only. What if the local processes are also not ready to acquire or to procure a lot of raw materials? So decisions can be stakeholders, can be included before decisions can be taken. And another recommendation I would say is talking about the smuggling. Of course, if we are doing this, there's going to be a very high level of people, especially farmers, smuggling their raw materials to other countries. And so there should be some law enforcement, some regulations to ensure that if you are apprehended, you're going to face some consequences. And then some frameworks, the pricing. The pricing, of course, because people are going to have upper hands and dictate the price they want. They are going to state it, whether you like it or not, or whether you want to sell it to them or not. They are going to say, hey, reduce your price to more than 60%, 50%, without considering the farmers, the land that they are using, the employees on the farm. And also, this is a good opportunity to create jobs. This is an opportunity for us to go into more engineering, go into more handwork, rather than the book. Office work among others. So to our universities university students who have been crying of no job, this is a great opportunity to create some job. What will be other recommendations you add to it, and then we move to the next story?
Right. So I think my recommendation has to do with the pricing. Right. So it should be very fair in such a way that farmers would not be complaining and have a lot of back and forth with these processes. So in that particular sense, I think the government should be on their toes to make sure that all the terms and conditions that would make the lives of these people producing these goods are going to make better. So pricing should be well controlled.
Great. I'm moving to the next story, which I had already given details on. We were supposed to have a guest joining us, so we discussed it, but unfortunately, he couldn't. And so I'll do this with Mr. Yeboah here, which is about the Ghana's rent control department moving across Accra and Kumasi to engage with hotel managers as well as students. And I'm happy you're also a student. And so before maybe I go into what we have to discuss, share your experience with us. You're in your final year, right?
Yeah,
so, and you were in a hostel, right?
Yes.
Great, from level 100. Share your experience and the first day you got to school, and paying your first hostel fee at level 100 till now. How has the experience been?
It's been very interesting. You
be honest, too. Don't be scared of it. Yeah.
You can't predict how much is going to be added at the end of every year. All you can think of is how high it's going to get.
Okay.
And right after this, you're wondering, okay, do we have student leaders that can speak for us? If they speak, who listens to them? Even if they listen to them, what does it result in? What are the solutions they bring on board? And it's absolutely nothing. Since first year all the way to my final year, we've never had any major probably demonstration or conversation
about
with the
this,
leaders of the institution where they really assure us that things are going to be done. It's most often that they are going to engage them and we never get feedback. So it's a very terrible situation, I could say, because you have sometimes it goes all the way to like 2,000 more. The private hostels give very absorb.
So you are with the school.
Yes, the
hostel.
schools.
Okay, so maybe let me dive deeper. So level 100, how much did you pay?
My first year I paid 1,900 for the whole year.
Okay, for
that
the
was
whole
in
year.
Commonwealth. There's a traditional hall.
Okay.
So that's literally like the cheapest.
The cheapest, 1,000 for the whole year.
1,900 for the whole year.
And how many are you in the room?
We're 4.
Okay. And currently, how much are you paying?
Currently, I'm now in Elizabeth Say Hall.
Okay.
We're paying 7,000 per head for in a room.
What?
Yeah.
Is that a private hostel?
It's the University of Ghana Enterprise Limited. So it's
So,
more
okay,
like a combination.
From 1,900
so,
to 7,000.
Yes. So 7,000 for 4 in a room.
Still 4 in a room?
Yeah, 4 in a room. This is literally one of the best deals currently on campus. Yes.
Right. So this is campus hostel. So imagine the private hostels.
Yes.
Which owners just only think about making profits, they only think about making money, investing in it. Well, so when this story came up on social media, we saw a lot of people talking about, but there were some who were also questioning whether the rent control are the authorities to be doing this, and is this their work? And so I went to search on the Rent Act 1963, and here is the information for us all. So the Rent Act actually applies to all premises, whether it's a hostel, whether it's a hotel, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a landlady's, I mean, whatever premises it is. Even stores, companies, among others, who rent their office spaces. This Rent Act applies to everybody, but some are exempted from it. So this includes properties by the government, occupied by public officers, so maybe the police bungalows, teachers bungalows, among others. These are exempted from the Rent Act. We have certain land leases, concession leases, government premises rented without financial gain. We have the council-owned market stalls. We have land conveyed by the Rent Stabilization Act, which was 1966. And even this act has been cancelled because when we talk about a Rent Stabilization Act, it's so these were acts that allowed people to acquire lands or rent at a stable price. So whether for 10 years, it's not going to increase. You're going to still pay the same. But this was an old act, 1966, and it has been cancelled. And so the Rent Act 1963, I mean, cut across everybody. Let's talk about the pricing. So for one in a room, we have, I'm using the private hostels, we have students paying for about 24,000 a year. That's for about a number of people in a room, and then some also paying 10,000 Ghana cedis. Some of the factors we know contributing to this price, like I made mention, one is the investor trying to gain a lot of money from it, and also location. I've realized that, so let's use UPSA, let's use University of Ghana and East Legon. Of course, these are the areas closer to the school. So far as it is East Legon, prices needs to go high. Why do you think? Is it because of the name or because things are expensive here? I want to hear from you before I go to what the Rent Act is saying to consider before you do your pricing.
Right, so I think the factors that go into the pricing, first of all, have to do with proximity. Right, and second of all, has to do with the facilities you're going to enjoy while using these premises. Right, so these are the two main things. And I think also in relation to maybe security, what kind of security do you have in that particular premise? Are there CCTV cameras?
Okay.
Do you have the security constantly being over there to monitor if staff are being lost and all of that? Yeah, so these are the factors I think that go into the pricing first off.
All right, okay. So according to the Rent Act, what you should consider as an investor or a private hostel is, one, you need to look at where is it? Okay, so the value of the land. You need to look at the rates You need to look at repair and maintenance costs. And then you need to consider other rents similar to your own. So maybe here, you are looking at the government hostel. How much are they charging before you also consider pricing your own? And then you need to look at okay, hold on, let me go here. Yes. I want to be specific. Yeah, you need to look at the utility cost. You need to look at property maintenance. You need to look at the price of the land. You need to look at operational expenses. Of course, you are going to need cleaners. You are going to need a receptionist. You are going to need a lot of some people. They're working to keep the hostel in touch. And then, like I said, inflation, and then also comparing your pricing to other premises. But our people do not use this. With what cut across, or what is very common is once we are moving into the next year, they have to increase. Definitely. Whether there was a maintenance, whether there was an inflation, and the land, of course, is you just bought it at once, so there's no an increment of land purchase or among others. So it's just like, okay, we are moving into another year, so I have to increase it. I have to increase it. Is this also similar to your
definitely,
your
because anytime we find out that there's going to be increments in the pricing, we first off ask why the increments are going to take place. And most often, you really do not get an adequate answer to that. First off, because the most common response is that we are going to have a lot of maintenance. But there's little to no maintenance experienced in our hostels. I can say for a fact that I've experienced little to nothing being done in my room. I've reported a lot of issues. They've not been sorted out. We've had to use our own money to solve those issues as well. Yeah. And yet the fees keep on increasing.
Right. We'll talk more on this. We'll go for a break and be back soon. Please stay tuned.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Africa is rising through knowledge, culture, innovation, and through our universities. This May 25th, African Union Day, we gather again. The Association of African Universities Television, AAU TV, invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a space where scholarship meets policy, student voices shape continental dialogue, where Africa's brightest minds and boldest ideas come together to drive Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And this year, we are spotlighting the theme that touches every home, every school, every clinic, every community, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Expect a high-level dialogue on water security, sanitation, climate resilience, and human capital. A youth forum, because climate action starts local and youth are leading the way. A research and innovation pitch showcase, where innovators present practical solutions for safe water and sanitation to mentors, funders, and investors. And cultural moment that celebrates Africa's heritage, our identity, our pride. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m. GMT. Join us in person at the AAU Secretariat, Accra, or virtually from anywhere in the world. Register now to celebrate African scholarship and own our future.
Hello Africa is your live breakfast show delivering informative, entertaining, and energizing start to your day.
Our expert reviews break down the headlines and help you make sense of today's news.
We bring you nothing but the most interesting highlights on our top African stories.
Plus lifestyle features, inspiring interviews, and the best on the continent.
Every episode is packed with stories that inform, inspire, and celebrate the spirit of the continent.
Catch us live every Monday at 9 a.m.
and be part of the conversation on our social media platforms.
Hello Africa, bringing the continent to your morning.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
You are still watching Hello Africa Morning Show. Now, before the break, we were discussing, hostels rate increasing, and we had the Ghana Rent Control Department going around in Accra and Kumasi to ensure that the right things are done. But first, they need to know what is happening on the ground. In Kunim, so we were talking about why prices keep increasing every year, each and every year. Another thing, another common thing that I think needs to be attended to, or we need to look at is the duration or the advance. So to you, let me ask, did you pay maybe monthly, or you pay per semester, or you pay yearly?
Yeah.
What's the period to pay?
It has to be paid at least on a
least.
semester basis.
Which is like
so 50% before you start the academic year.
Before you start?
Yes,
okay.
before you start, and then 50% when you are about to resume for the second semester. So payment must be completed before the second semester commences.
That is annually?
Yes, please.
So you pay 50% before you even start school,
yes.
And then even before this, and you enter second semester, you need to complete it. And so it means, basically they are taking annually.
Yes.
And I think that is also that is also causing the price to be high, because imagine a student is paying 10,000 annually. That it means if they are to pay monthly, the price is high though, but if they are to pay monthly, I think that's going to be for about like 920 Ghana cedis a month. With that, I think it is going to be a bit flexible for the students to even at least get a side job too, or if the parents can, especially those from the low background or poor background, they can at least get some side job to support their parents in paying these monthly 900 and something 920 Ghana cedis. But if you are to take the 1,000 at once, or you are saying 50%, so I need to pay 5,000 before I even start my academic year. 24,000 a year, that means I need to pay 12,000 before I need to, this is so absurd. And how is a level 100 student going to be able to cater for this?
Oh, this is also dependent on the kind of hostel you're in.
Okay.
Well, for some hostels, you must pay at least 60 to 70%.
Oh, you are even increasing.
Exactly.
I thought you were coming to say, some you can pay 10%, some you can pay 20%.
For every hall, at least 50% is a must, but for some, it's higher than 50%.
And this is also against the Rent Act. So according to the Rent Act, you need to pay 1 month monthly, or 3 months, at most is 6 months advance payment. 6 months, and that is it. But for students, I think it is best we do monthly or 3 months. Or is it bad? What do you think?
It's a great idea, but the problem they have is with compliance. So
the students?
Exactly. So people can be signed into the system, and probably school resumes today. For the next 2 weeks, you don't hear anything from them as to whether they're going to continue or they're facing challenges while paying. And so they give them a grace period of probably 3 weeks.
Okay.
And if they can't, they then just
move out.
Exactly. So they kick them out.
Okay, so you think students are going... but if we should start. So far as we start, you know that, oh, by the end of the month, I have to pay. It's just like your utility bills, like light bill, water bill. At the end of the month, you obviously, you can't say you are dodging or you are not going to pay. With the Ghana government, it's fine. If you don't pay, you'll be there and then they'll come with a huge amount of money piled up bills that you have to pay. So as students, maybe we need to also be compliant to, rules and regulations. You know, this is where you're sleeping and they've given you a grace period of time. For the monthly, maybe they can give 1 week grace period of time for you to gather money to pay. You know you have to pay. You have to do the right thing. Another thing we can talk about is accessibility and equity. So I know that the pricing sometimes comes with some comforts. So the higher the price, it means that you are getting some advantages. Some includes the refrigerator in the room, a microwave in the room, microwave in the room, AC, air conditioning in the room, other standard utilities that I think it should be provided for students. I mean, so far as you are going for this, it means you have to pay high, making accessibility a bit not easy for students. I'll explain the accessibility, and also making it not equitable. I mean, equality. If I'm from a low background, does that mean I'm not going to enjoy having fridge in my room, or I'm not going to enjoy having a microwave or a gas station or, AC in my room? What do you think about it? You were shaking your head.
Yeah, because some of the things you mentioned are not existent, like having a microwave in your room. I haven't seen or heard of it on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, probably my campus, I haven't heard of a microwave there. But for places like Pentagon, the African Union hostel, managed by the Ghana Hostels Limited, for that I know that they have fridges, of which a large number are not really functional. They are old, and most often people have to bring in their own fridges because they don't really find them accessible. All right, so they're not in good shape, poor maintenance, and a whole lot. For places like mine, there's absolutely nothing that comes with it. You pay 7K.
And it means an empty room.
It's literally, you just have your beds and then your lockers.
Which you have to even bring your mattresses, right?
No, the mattresses are in.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just have to bring your fridge, bring in any other thing that you feel you need in the room. And
So okay. But so with the rooms that have the fridges and the AC, like you said, even some are not working, but still students are paying the amount they are paying because they have fridge provided by the hostel managers. They have AC, which it's even not working. Right. So I think the rent control shouldn't just, be going around saying how much are you paying? Can I have your price list? What is there? Or engaging this. They need to maybe visit the rooms. I know it's maybe entering into your privacy or invading into your privacy, but they need to visit in some of the rooms to get to know that this is actually happening, or the prices they are charging. Is it true that if they say they are providing AC, is it working? If they say they are providing refrigerator, is it working? Now, the accessibility I talked about, I think this is a very common standard thing that a room should have for students who are coming to, who want a very friendly environment to study, a very comforting environment to study. As a hostel room, I know it is not happening. It is something that is not happening. But as a hostel room, you need to have your comfort in terms of bed. The bed should be big enough, not compared to your house. You need to have ventilation. If the place is too hot, you need to have AC. As a student, of course, you are going to cook. You shouldn't always rely on outside food. You need to have fridge to at least, preserve your food for a while. All these are standard utilities that have to be available for students, and not just, pay this huge amount of money before you have access to this. So maybe to the rent control department, I think they should also look at this. They should inspect the rooms. I saw some video of somebody capturing a room and the bathhouse was so dirty. Students are paying money because they claim there is services for people to, I don't know, there are services for them to scrub the hostel, for them to sweep the place, to clean the place for them. Yet still, these rooms are so dirty. These washrooms are so dirty, among others. The rent control should look at this rather than just going round and saying, or focusing on just the pricing. Now, let's go beyond the pricing and look at the affairs of students, especially those who may not be able to afford. I'm sure you may have friends who, like you made mention, if you can't pay, you have to move out. this is going to cause some mental issues. It's going to give some huge burden on students. Some may even miss class. Have you, for once, maybe seen someone or heard, or maybe a student confront you asking for help, going through mental issue due to rent issues?
Yes, definitely. I have that on a regular basis. Even with accessibility, I've noticed the point where, for example, the University of Ghana with University of Ghana Enterprise Limited, there's a random allocation of the rooms. So whether you're from Accra, Kumasi, the northern region, whoever region you're from, you have the same probability of getting or not getting a room as anyone here in Accra, as well. So there are points where people from Kumasi don't get rooms, but people in Accra or Medina get rooms.
Okay.
So that's a big problem for others. So now they have to go and look for hostels off campus, which are higher than those on campus. And so there's a very big problem with all of that. And with payments, I think the increment also adds an extra burden to these individuals as well, because they find them complaining all the time that they can't really pay, and that's a big issue. So sometimes they're scholarships, but as to whether they're scholarships for the hostels or accommodation, I can't tell. It's mostly for academic fees, but you find little to no scholarships for hostel fees.
Fees. Okay, so maybe what you are pointing out is there should be some kind of financial opportunities to ease these burdens when it comes to hostel or accommodation. I think another recommendation I will give before we move to the next story is maybe because the government schools or the schools do not have enough hostel facilities to accommodate the number of students they are bringing in. I think what they can do is probably partner with these private institutions and ensure that the price also aligns with their pricing. Rather than these private hostels operating by themselves, maybe there should be some collaboration with the school or the government and then the school to ensure that at least the pricing aligns directly. So if students on campus are paying this amount, at least I should also pay this amount. And to the rent control, you shouldn't just look at hostels. Sometimes the students also go to landladies, some small house around, and then they pitch in, they rent the boys' quarters. So they are killing us. Me, I'm renting. So you should also look at some other renting issues and not just hostel, because we are all suffering and not just the students. Now moving on to the third story, or the next story, and this is health, and it's really heartbreaking. It's about time we sit up as Africa. And so the World Health Organization has currently declared Ebola as an emergency in DRC, Congo, and Uganda. And so recently we heard about the outbreak of Ebola in the Republic of Congo and other neighboring Uganda towns. And so they have declared this as an emergency of international concern. And according to the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, at least 88 people have died from the recent case, which is more than 33 suspected cases. And health officials says the outbreaks involve the Bundibugyo strain of the Ebola virus, which currently has no approved vaccine or specific treatment. So, we've seen how this is not news. The Ebola is not news. We saw how Ebola wiped away a lot of population in African countries, and we thought the solution was provided. We thought we have the solution at hand. And so we are not going to hear about Ebola again. And just now, we are hearing of cases of Ebola. Just within few period of time, we have more than 300 cases, to the extent we have 88 deaths. And not just one country, but it is transmitting to another country. You have Uganda currently. And where viruses do transmit, it goes very far within a short period of time. So far as people are moving from one end to the other. And the most heartbreaking or the most serious part is that the new strains of virus, we do not have vaccine for it. Where are we?
This is scary, actually. especially when they can't have a vaccine at the moment. And these actually take quite some amount of time to
Yeah,
develop,
yeah.
right? So I think the very first thing we have to do is to not repeat mistakes that we've already had in previous encounters of such pandemics, but we should do very well to restrict the movements of people within these areas,
Yeah.
so that we can quickly curb these things and
Yeah.
prevent a widespread of it,
Yeah.
especially because of the fact that we don't have much capacity
Yeah.
to cater for these things.
Yeah, and so what were we waiting for? We know that a virus mutates. We know how COVID-19 was. Today you hear of Alpha, you hear of Beta, you hear of a lot of different strains. They mutate, and so as the provision were provided in terms of vaccine for the first strain, at least researchers internally, like locally, should have been done to make sure that, okay, should there be another mutation or should there be another strain, at least we have something to curb it, or something to reduce the transmission of the virus to another person, rather than just sitting down, oh, okay, we have a vaccine for the first strain, or we have a vaccine, so that is it. I mean, this is so sad, and it keeps on going on and going on and going. Currently, we have another strain, or even with the virus, I heard there's hantavirus.
Yeah.
What are we doing? There are a lot of researches going on in Africa. I don't know if maybe the problem is in our research, or is in the resources needed to develop the vaccine, or which is the infrastructure. I don't know. Now currently I don't know where the challenge is, because when it comes to research, Africa has done a lot of research. Even if not me being involved in a COVID-19 project, I didn't even know that Noguchi was so much involved during the COVID-19. And in fact, they were even the one prescribing the type of vaccine needed, or running the test. They played a major role in COVID-19, ensuring that at least we are curbing the transmission, we are finding solutions to it. So research, of course, plays a bigger role. When this happens, at least there should be more research conducted to ensure that, okay, should it happen, what should we add to the vaccine, or what should we do to the current vaccine, or the available treatment we have, so that at least it's also going to.
That's true, actually. I think if
this is
nothing
sad.
at all, consistency in the health sector
Yeah.
would be a great factor as well.
This is, and now we do not have vaccine for this current strain, and the WHO has declared this as an emergency, not just even to the country, an international emergency issue. And so it means the other neighboring country should look out for cases of Ebola. And Ebola is a very, very bad and worse disease that when it catches you, I mean, you are helpless.
Exactly.
And it's you are smiling. This is not a smiling issue.
Actually.
It is not. It is not. And so to our governments, especially the countries who do not have cases now, I think this is the best time we have to sit up. And it's good that at least, sometimes it takes a very while. The WHO will consider a lot of things before they declare it as an emergency. But now it didn't take much time before they came out to say that, hey, this is a very big issue, and so we should look out. This gives the chances for the neighboring countries, especially those closer to Uganda, those closer to DRC, should sit up to start finding solutions, to start, like you said, I mean, probably we should prevent movement from Uganda to other country, and then same as from other country to the infected countries. At least that is also going to give some time, and also going to prevent the number of cases in Africa, to be precise. And so this is a great opportunity, as we know that now it is in an emergency health issue. This is the time for the government to look into it, to providing solutions, upgrade or up their game in terms of research, and manufacture a lot of local vaccine manufacturing companies. I mean, provide it for us, because it takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a while. I've currently been in a vaccine development project, and it moves from one stage to the other. Maybe it has to be tested on a mice, and then you have to do some testing on humans. You take it to the WHO for them to accredit it, or for them to confirm before it is being distributed or manufactured at a very large capacity and then distributed. And so it takes a very long time. So this is the time, Africa, we have to look into, building more manufacturing companies to develop vaccine locally and not depend on the Western countries. Because now, I know for sure the Western countries will now be saying, okay, let's hoard these vaccines. Should there be a vaccine to this strain, we should cater for ourselves first before we start distributing it to other countries. And so we need to really set up on this and not wait till the situation gets off hand where we cannot control. So moving to the next story, this is good news to us. It's about 4 Kenyan students who are turning hospital waste into bricks with clean tech innovation. Now, these students are from Mount Kenya University, and they have developed an innovative system that converts toxic hospital incinerator emissions into useful construction materials, earning them a spot in the finals of the International WEGI Prize competition. The intervention, known as EcoScrubber, captures harmful pollutants and greenhouse gases from hospital chimneys and process them into bricks and building blocks, effectively transforming hazardous waste into reusable products. The students, namely Wesley Inyenga, Franklin Mwendwa, Elijah Mauna, and Rhoda Shinyere, developed the idea after witnessing high levels of emission during hospital field visits in 2024. They say the system addresses both environmental pollution and public health risk linked to medical waste incineration. So these are 4 students, brilliant students, who are trying to also contribute to climate change issues or climate resilience adaptation, using the challenge as an opportunity to create something good out of it. And so they use, the emissions, the gases that are coming from the hospitals. Most time they bend some of the tools that they use. And so they gather these gases to create bricks or construction material. Which when I saw, I was like, oh really? Because I never knew you can use smoke to develop bricks that can even build. And so I saw this as a great opportunity. But before we dive in, I would like to explain what the WEGI prize is. And so this is an international students competition that challenges universities teams to design solutions that helps move the world from linear economy to a circular economy. And it is organized by the WEGI Center for Sustainable Design at Ferrari State University, Scandal College of Art and Design. Now, in terms of who are the people who have the opportunity to participate, so students apply in teams of 5, and then the team must be transdisciplinary, meaning they should bring together different academic disciplines, institutions, and also degree levels where possible. And then the organizers are saying that this is an opportunity to encourage cross-boundary problem solving rather than narrow technical thinking. I like the idea. So the team of students shouldn't be maybe, let's say, one school. I mean, it can cut across two schools coming together to form a team to come up with a solution. And so it's an international award event. And so I think it gives an opportunity for students to exhibit their creativity. It gives an opportunity for students to apply what they've learned in school to solving solution at hand, and not just book solutions, or not just okay, I need to create something. And so they just stand up. They looked at the challenges. There's a saying that when there is a challenge, of course, there's an opportunity there. So they look at what is happening, what are the challenges, and how they can change these challenges to an innovation. An example is the EcoScrubber, which our Kenyan students have done. This is like I said, taking the challenge to an opportunity. What will be, as a student, what will be your word of encouragement to other students, especially those in the STEM field, in the practical aspect, not the administration aspect, but what will be your words of advice to these students?
I think everyone has to be daring, right? This is actually a problem that the whole world literally faces, right? Air pollution. And these are students not even so aged coming up with something of this sort. I think first of all has to do with access to information. Once you have access to information as to what's particular elements exist, what they can be used for, I think you can go a long way to bring in solutions to the problems that we're facing. So I think they should be daring. And if the governments are listening, they should really push in some funds to support these ones to bring in the best that they can.
Talking about government, so I realized that, okay, they actually did not wait for the government to say, okay, we have this money, or they didn't wait for, let's say, we have to apply with this idea that, okay, we can create this and this and that, and so we need money to go ahead. They took the first step. They took the initiative to develop it, to at least have a piloting of it, to have some evidence to show that it is possible we can do it before they applied for the WEGI prize, and then they showcase what they have done. So to me, I think this goes to all young people out there, especially the youth who really want to create something. Of course, you may need financial aid, you may need that support, but take the first step. There are a lot of investors out there who want to put their money into something that is sustainable, something that is going to fetch them a lot of, income, something that is they are going to gain from it. So if you take the step, you don't just pitch ideas to them, you don't just preach ideas to them. Take the first step, do it, have an evidence to show to people that it is doable, it is feasible, it is something that we can do. And to me, I think that is when you can gain money. Rather than sitting down, let's say there's no money, funding is an issue, infrastructure is an issue, and so we are not going to do nothing about it. These are young students who saw the opportunity from the challenge to do this.
Exactly.
Rather than just sitting down to wait for government. And another surprising thing is, so this is an international award, but this year, this year we had the top 5 team all coming from Africa. So according to the WEGI managers, organizers, all the top African top 5 finalists came from Africa. So we have Rwanda, which are students who did the Agri-Nova and EGRET parts. We have Kenya, which is the Agro-Scrabber and Nutrimax. We have South Sudan, also focusing on Nutrimax. So like I said, the team should come from different institutions or maybe across countries to come together to create an innovation. We have Malawi, who are involved in Unitrade, EcoHask, and then also the same team, we have Nigerian in there. And so the top 5 finalists, all of them are coming from Ghana, Africa. I mean, which is the first time for the 13 years now, since WEGI prize started. This is the first time they've had all finalists coming from Africa. What does this tell you? As an African, what does it tell you?
This basically tells me a lot of things. First off, it means that we have a lot of problems in Africa. But second of all, we can actually solve the problems. That's basically it. So as long as people are willing, ready to take the risk, I think the right recognition will come in the right time.
Yeah, of course, this tells us we have a lot of challenges, and so if there is a challenges, then there are solutions. And this also tells us that our African youth are now motivated to take the step to ensure that challenges are being addressed with their skills, with the capacity that they have, and they are not just waiting for government or international interventions. Now we'll move to the next story, which is also a very good news and focuses on Ghanaian teacher winning a prestigious Cambridge Award. So Abigail Ejewa, who is a Ghanaian teacher, has been named the Sub-Saharan African Regional Winner of the 2026 Cambridge Dedicated Teacher Awards, making it the 2nd consecutive year a Ghanaian educator has received the honor. Abigail, an English teacher at Mangwasi Senior High School, was selected for more than 1,500 nominees across the region for her outstanding contribution to education and community development. The award was organized by Cambridge University Press and Assessment, which celebrates teachers making exceptional impact in classrooms and community across the world. Now, beyond teaching, Abigail is recognized for advocacy for rural education and support for vulnerable students, particularly girls. Now, through the Kagas Foundation Ghana, she has led initiatives focused on education, health awareness, and gender empowerment in underserved communities with the Kwapem North municipality. Her recognition comes a year after another Ghanaian educator, Portia Jila, won a global prize, further strengthening Ghana's growing reputation for educational excellence and innovation. So this is a very good news, and congratulations to teacher Abigail Ejiwa. Thank you so much for your commitment and also for the good work you are doing for Ghana, and also lifting up the name of our teachers. You know, amongst our occupation, we forget that our teachers are the ones who are leading us to where we are now. However, when it comes to career, when you ask a child, what do you want to do? Hardly would you hear a child saying, I want to be a teacher. But so this is a very good teacher who has done a very good job, I mean, and has received an award. What would be your words, or I mean, there's a platform for you to congratulate. And what would also be your words to other teachers out there? What would you advise them on? Or what would be your motivational words?
Right. So first of all, I would congratulate her for being nominated for this prestigious award. But second of all, is just take note of the fact that the criteria being mentioned here is not just about book knowledge.
Thank you.
But then community development, your contribution to the daily lives of people, championing certain initiatives, advocacy for gender equality, and so many things that would impact people's daily lives. So that basically is the solution to most of the academic problems we're facing, the practicality of whatever that we study. So as long as she has set the pace for something of this sort, I think we can encourage people to look beyond the classroom and make the lives of people better.
Of course. So most times we see teachers, they just you know, prepare their slides, prepare their subject matter, what they are coming to teach. They go to class and then they just spoil it to the student. And that is all. They think that is all. But as a teacher, I think your work goes beyond, and not just teachers. I mean, each and everybody. Our work goes beyond where we are stationed at. We have to look at the community at hand, and for them to win an award, not because of the good work they are doing in class, but also what they are doing in the community, tells us that, of course, education is a very big tool for social change. What you are teaching the students, you are teaching them about sanitation. You need to ensure that it is being practiced out there. As a teacher, maybe you can take an initiative to ensure that in your community you organize some cleaning, you know, exercise, engage the community. Practice what you are teaching them, not the mathematics, but I mean the community, the social issues. You need to be involved in it, take the initiative. And you don't know who is watching. Actually, when it comes to teachers' welfare and motivation, there's been a lot of backlash that teachers are not being motivated well. Teachers are not being looked at. The government do not really focus on them. Even their salaries are being held. It takes quite a number of time, months before they receive their salary. And so as a teacher, you don't look at this disadvantage and just say, okay, I'm coming to do my job, but rather involve yourself in the community. You don't know who is watching. You don't know there are a lot of opportunities that don't look at just one criteria. It looks at a lot of other criteria where a teacher you can apply to you know, be motivated, to earn money, to get an award, to aim or gain some reputation. And this is actually lifting the face of teachers, whereby we don't say that, oh, their occupation is low or they are not being recognized, but rather we know that they are also doing a very good work. So last year, a female won. Now coming to be gender biased. Last year, a female won, and this year, another female won. You know, back then when we talk about teaching, most times we look at males, only the men going into teaching. But now it looks like the women, we are taking the mantle from you guys, and you're not even winning awards. Why? What's happening to our men?
Well, I think the reason why men are not receiving these awards is mainly because we have come to the point where we've accepted that this is something men are supposed to be doing. So there's not much publicity to what men are doing. The moment a lady champions an initiative in a community, there's a lot of traction.
Are you sure?
Exactly.
Are you sure?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
As long as ladies are championing stuff like gender balance and the like, it was like, oh wow, let's support her. So I think that is where the attention is coming from.
Okay.
Basically.
So you are saying, I mean, you are also doing a lot, just that because you are not attached to gender bias, equitability among others, and so the attention is not on you and just only on women. Well, I don't believe that. What I would say, is that women are are trying to be there. Women are showing that, of course, they are capable. And you know, women, this is our nature. When we are doing something, we take it at heart. We do it internally. We do it with a lot of. You think I'm lying?
Well, I'm learning.
We do it with a lot of commitment compared to men.
Okay.
Am I telling lies?
I would have to find out.
I can hear some well, our audience, am I telling lies? You know, compared to a man and a woman, when we are doing something, we put in our all, our best, our commitment compared to that of a man who will just come and do, just give results and that was all. And that is all. But okay, well, let's come back to the story. So to our teachers out there, this is an encouragement. This is a very good opportunity. This is the time for you to, involve yourself with the community you found yourself in, to take up initiative and also contribute to solving social issues and not just education. Of course, education is a very big tool to social change. What you are teaching the students, you should ensure that it is being practiced from the outside. Yeah, so this brings us to the end of the news review sessions where I did with our guest, Mr. Nkunima Dom Kwabena, a student from the University of Ghana. My name is Isabella Tetahinakwa. We'll go for a short, quick break. When we come back, we shall dive into lifestyle segment. Please stay tuned.
Ever wondered what drives ordinary people to do extraordinary things? Every week, a new story unfolds. But these aren't just stories. They are the journeys of courage, resilience, and vision. On Impact Stories, we open the door to remarkable personalities and everyday heroes. Experience the passion behind their purpose. Witness the setbacks, the breakthroughs, and the moment that defines a legacy. Journey with us on AAU TV every Saturday at 4 p.m. as we celebrate those who are making an impact. Tune in to Impact Stories, where real people share real journeys and real impact, each one leaving behind a legacy written in gold. Only on AAU TV.
Africa is rising through knowledge, culture, innovation, and through our universities. This May 25th, African Union Day, we gather again. The Association of African Universities Television, AAU TV, invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a space where scholarship meets policy, student voices shape continental dialogue, where Africa's brightest minds and boldest ideas come together to drive Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And this year, we are spotlighting the theme that touches every home, every school, every clinic, every community, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Expect a high-level dialogue on water security, sanitation, climate resilience, and human capital. A youth forum, because climate action starts local and youth are leading the way. A research and innovation pitch showcase, where innovators present practical solutions for safe water and sanitation to mentors, funders, and investors. And cultural moment that celebrates Africa's heritage, our identity, our pride. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 23rd, 2026 at 10 a.m. GMT. Join us in person at the AAU Secretariat, Accra, or virtually from anywhere in the world. Register now to celebrate African scholarship and own our future.
The Association of African Universities, AAU, is leading the implementation of the Sahel Regional Engagement for Learning and Collaboration in Education, RELANCE project, a game-changing regional initiative designed to strengthen education systems and expand access to learning and employment opportunities for vulnerable youth across the Sahel. Funded by the World Bank and the Federal Republic of Germany, in collaboration with the governments of Chad and Mauritania, Raylands targets some of the most underserved population in the region, including refugees, internally displaced persons, and nomadic communities. With an investment of $137 million, the project adopts a coordinated continental approach to address systemic education challenges while advancing inclusion, resilience, and long-term impact. Through Raylands, the AAU and its partners are advancing a shared vision of inclusive, resilient, and opportunity-driven education systems, capable of transforming lives and supporting sustainable development across the Sahel region and Africa. For further information and enquiries, contact Dr. Sylvia Nkandawire using the email on your screen.
The International Development Research Center, IDRC, has launched a massive open online course, MOOC, on scaling impact. Scaling impact places people, communities, and the planet at the center of the scaling process. It is grounded in the experience of innovators across the global south and complements rather than replaces other scaling frameworks and approaches. This course introduces a practical approach to
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Welcome back from the break, and this is still the Hello Africa Morning Show. My name is Jemima Adeladem Doche, and this is the lifestyle segment, and you're welcome. I'm doing this with
Isabella Tetahina.
All right, so today we'll move to our first story on our lifestyle segment, which talks about turning Ghana's clothes waste into product. So today, Ghana is one of the world's largest recipients of second-hand clothing, with thousands of tons of thrift garments arriving at markets like Kantamanto every week. But we know that a significant portion of these clothes never gets sold, and most of them end up at the beaches and they are dumped, which is posing serious environmental threats to communities across the country. It is this crisis that has inspired Yaira Agbofa, founder and creative director of the Revival organization, to take action. Based at the Kantamanto market in Accra, the Revival collection collects sellable, or let me say unsellable, discarded clothing and transforms them into upcycled product, from stylish carpet made from shoe materials to books and envelopes crafted from shredded fabric, bound together using cassava touch. So operating on a strict zero waste policy, every scrap that comes through their doors is turned into something valuable. And we know that beyond production, the Revival also trains young women from vulnerable communities in the market, helping them transition from working as kayayu, female porters, into becoming skilled upcyclers and designers. But before we have a conversation on this particular story, we'll take a look at a video, and then when we come back, we'll have the discussion.
This is Kantaman. Hi
everyone, my name is Yaira Abufa. I'm the founder and creative director of the Revival organization.
The French Embassy in Air supports some project in Ghana. The African Forward Summit happened in Nairobi, Kenya. The summit is co-organized by France and Kenya.
And what we do here is we're trying to tackle the textile waste situation here in Kantamanto market.
The whole world, the Bano Bruni will with Kantamanto turning into something new.
This is where the magic happened. I call this a magic room. So this is where most of the clothes that we collect, which are sellable, which will otherwise end up in being disposed. We bring them here and then we upcycle them and make them really, really cool items here. This is where we train young women, especially Kayaye, who are within the vulnerable communities in the market, and then we train them. We bring them into this space, and we train them from scratch. So from being a Kayaye to being an upcycler to being a designer.
Near Yaira Yentin of French Embassy support.
Everybody can come and then learn basic upcycling skills.
Ghanaian space. No more the other African countries. The African Forward Summit. No creators, innovators. French Embassy a proper collaboration. We force in shoe one and no more Yaira Kacham said the French Embassy in our must in common.
So these are just a few of the many pieces that we do. These are all upcycled garments. These are items that we made from waste, aka Bola. Tote bag. This is our iconic tote bag, our bestseller, which is our collab with Victoria and Albert Museum, which is one of the top museums in the world. And so we produce from here, and then we export it to the UK.
Near Revival, the African Forward Summit, one big space for all African creators by France and Kenya.
Basically, what we're doing is to tackle textile waste in Ghana and in West Africa. Ghana has been seen as one of the largest used clothing markets in the world. But then growing up in the market in Ghana, which is Kantamanto market in Accra, I have seen millions of clothes come into the country, but a lot of them go to our dumping sites, destroy our environment, open air burning, air pollution, and our beaches are dirty. So then,
when you know ball and Yayama na fiko ni dia ye book any envelope. We ye ni Ghana he ya o Kantamanto. Bibisa so bia betimi de niam asia ba na.
Everybody from home, people do drop off their stuff from home of the garment to give it an identity. And we have a zero waste policy where everything is used. So the offcuts, the scraps from the atelier, we bring them here, and these guys here use them as art pieces. That's David there. He's one of the artists that works on most of the PCC, but anybody, any creative within Kantamanto and even beyond can come and access our space, our atelier, and our equipment to also create their brand.
We are one of the projects at the French Embassy Air Support for Ghana. I will say African Forward Summit. Summit na France ni Kenya na Kabu. Summit ni creators, innovators, ni thinkers ni number one. It happened in Nairobi, Kenya. And to revive our Kantamanto, when they art pieces. Or man na boy upcycling, ni recycling.
The space where we are prototyping and trying recycling, because we realize that upcycling doesn't fully solve the problem. There are items that we collect, the waste items, some of them are in really bad condition that are not in the state to upcycle. So then hence, we cannot also throw it away. That's what we're trying to prevent. So recycling is also another process that we're exploring.
The revival is a center. No munya manififi kofi. Negu say ya. Na fi omo de ne cassava bunches starch na ye na ye din say. Enti enu bia no mu de ebuko yo paper way ana envelope enu ano de. Ana me say ya mpade ya nya bisisi a. Ano si ko jujune na ye nyam.
We take out all the metal parts of it because otherwise it will damage the shredder. So we'll just drop it in. Yeah.
Yedi atade ni share machine nwi anche bia na nyam ne fiko say. Je ha no kwa kire mbebi o mo gene ma na se na o mu di. Bro, I am mad. Thanks to the French Embassy for supporting them.
It's one of the most advanced circular models in the world. And please share this thing that you've had with your family, your friends, and your loved ones.
That is a very interesting story, I must say. I mean, looking at what some of these clothes, wasted clothes, if I should put it that way, what importance, it is bringing, or from what he's doing. I think from everything, I think currently even before we even start the conversation, I think currently now, even when it comes to our waste product, a lot of people are looking at how we can, differentiate some of our waste products in a way that they can be recycled and then, used for something else. But then let's come back to the story for discussion. Ms. Bella, generally, what do you think?
Well, so I was happy to see this because we sat here to talk about Ghana, especially being the dumping site of most of the European fashion designers. When people uses their dress, and they don't want them anymore, they just ship them. Not they, but we go to ship them and then bring them here to sell. So we were worried about it. We even talked about an advertisement that is going on, creating awareness about thrift clothing, among others. So to see that at least someone, we just talked about it here, seeing the challenge and then creating an opportunity or identifying opportunity in them, and then using that same challenge as a solution to another challenge, I think is the best way to go about it. So I am happy at least someone has seen the use of this thrift clothing that we end up throwing away. At least the person is using it to do something. So it needs more motivation. It needs more support. It needs more attention to ensure that at least not just this, but other challenges, we identify opportunities in them to create something substantial, something useful to the country.
Okay, so I equally share in what you said, because I'm thinking that if looking at the video that came up, you realize that the waste clothes are actually a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes you pass by our beach sites and then you realize that some of these clothes are heaped like a lot and they are costing so much. When they are flat and you see some of these waste getting into the sea and costing so much in our communities. And just like you said, somebody sitting down to look at what is happening and be able to create a solution or something great from it, I think it's a very good opportunity. And the fact that it's equally also getting the recognition that it deserves. Just like we saw in the video, there was a fair, a summit that they were sponsored to come and talk to people and showcase what they've been doing. That shows that regardless of the fact that we see that Ghana is like the dumping site for second-hand goods, regardless of it, we are using that to replenish or recycle it. Because I'm seeing some of the things that he's doing. I think I saw a carpet with a lace, and that is so creative, very, very creative. And I think I've been seeing I think there was an outfit that I saw, that the jeans patches. I think I've been seeing such outfits also coming up a lot. And I don't know what inspired him, but I think it will be a great moment to really have him tell his story at a point. And I'm looking at another side of what he's doing. The fact that, when you go to these big markets like Kantamanto, you realize that some of, we have the kayayes that help with, carrying. The fact that he is able to bring these women together to, teach them how to, give them some form of job, not just to be walking around and all that. But at the end of the day, they are able to gather some form of skill from whatever they are doing. And I think it's good. It's loud up. It's creating jobs. It's taking people from the street, because a lot of people talk about the fact that the kayayes are always on the street and they are causing that and that and that. But for somebody like him, with what he's doing, employing some of these people and then helping them gain that skill, and then I think it's a great idea.
That is good and true. And so myself, what also stood out for me was the premises he was. So he didn't just go to build the processing or the building or the infrastructure or the space. He didn't go somewhere far from where the challenge is. He's right in the market, and so which is very easy to get all these unsellable thrift clothing.
Yes.
It is easy for you to get them. It is easy for you to add the values to it. And during the video, I think I heard something. I was like, wow, and I even nod like so hard. So he does not just recycle them into something and that is it. He actually exports these finished goods
back to the people who brought it
so
to
I was
us.
like, oh wow. I mean, you bring us, and most times it's the other way around. We take the raw materials to them, they add value to it, and then they bring it back to us. But now, okay, fine, you are giving us the unwanted things,
and
we
we
recycle them, add values to
and
it,
then
and
you are
then bring it
interested
back
and
to
we
you.
give it back
Of
to
course,
you.
you think that the things that he displayed, they are they are all fashionable things, things that we see these brands displaying on
their
fashion
shops
shows,
even.
their magazines, among others. And so I'm really, really happy. He's not saying, okay, I'm doing it to sell to Ghanaians
Just
only,
Ghanaians,
or I'm doing it just to showcase that, okay, I am creative, but rather he's partnering with foreign companies. He's selling it back to the people who brought it back to us. And one thing I know for sure, if he is to say he's selling this in Ghana, we need to change our mindset. A lot of people are not going to buy into it because they think it is, as he said, aka baller things. So why should I go and buy?
But they look actually nice.
Exactly. He first got the reputation. He first got the fame out there, so that it is going to change our mindset, and then we'll also be chasing.
But it's very unfortunate that we have to see a fellow do well outside before we are able to acknowledge that person in our own country.
And that is a lot of things. It really happens, and most times it happens in African settings. So I think the strategy he used to get the fame, to let people get to know about what he's doing, so that the support will be there. And it's not just outfit, it is not just carpet, books. Books are things that students, students need a lot. So the government can even buy into this, produce us the books with the thrift or processed materials, so that we get books to our students. And I saw the video, the summit. I actually saw a video of so when he was giving the speech, I even heard it, there were a lot of noise as a background. And we saw the French president going on stage to shut the people down, to listen to the young people out there, to their sense that they were talking on stage, rather than that noise. And it tells us a lot that we have young people who they are doing very well. They have the solution, they have the skills, they have the creativity, but the background, the platform, or the support that they need, it is not there. This is an international platform where we were to sit down and listen attentively to what the youth are contributing to solve our problems, only to go meet noise. If not the president coming in to shut them down. And they were happy, I mean, applauding the president for doing that. It doesn't say well at all. And so we should give them the opportunity. We just talked about 4 Kenyans doing something great from a waste emission gas. So we should give them the opportunity, the platform to bring in their creativity.
I think this is very, laudable, because just like you said, these are, Ghanaians who are maybe represented internationally. So this equally opens up, the discussion that regardless of what you were doing, there should be some form of support. Just like you said, people are doing a lot, amazingly well, and they need that kind of support. So, platforms like this could, go a long way to support some of these people who are, doing very well in the various local markets. And this is a very good way to also put Ghana out there, if I should say.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll move to our second story, which talks about Nollywood mourns the death of actor Alex Ekubo at 40. The Nigerian entertainment industry is mourning the death of Nollywood actor and model Alex Ekubo, who died on Monday after battling advanced metastatic kidney cancer. He passed away in a private hospital in Lagos at the age of 40, according to a statement that was released by his family members. Ekubo was widely known for his role in Weekend Getaway and featuring in Yemi Alade's hit music video journey. Since news of his passing broke, tributes have poured in from fans, colleagues, and key figures in Nollywood, with many describing him as talented, humble, and impactful both on and off screen. So he was born in River State, Ekubo. He was born in River State, Ekubo, studied law at the University of Calabar before pursuing a career in entertainment. Beyond acting, he was also recognized for humanitarian work and youth influence across Africa. This is very sad, I should say, that we've lost a very key person, or let me say an actor, a Nollywood actor in Nigeria called Alex Ekubo. Did you ever watch any of
Oh
his
yeah, a
movies?
lot of. I'm not good at keeping the
Titles,
titles,
yeah,
yeah.
just like
But
me
I
too.
mean, he's popular. I've
Mhm.
watched a lot of his movies, and
Mhm.
I like the way he acts. I mean,
Yes.
he really has a talent.
Mhm.
Very passionate about what he does. I saw the news last week,
Mhm.
myself, I was surprised because
Yeah.
apparently there are a lot of Nigerians actors and a lot of movies, and
Mhm.
so we don't really catch their attention that okay, he's
Yes.
been off
Off the
the
screens
industry for
for
a
some
while
time
now
now.
until we saw the story, and I was like, oh, I mean that
Mhm.
is so sad. And
Mhm.
so I'll use this as an opportunity to wish the Ekubo's family to extend
Mhm.
our condolences, and also to the Nollywood industry
Mhm.
they need to strengthen the I mean, it's a sad story.
Yes.
It's a sad issue. I don't know how to put it, but they need
It's
to
very
strengthen
sad.
themselves
Yeah.
and take it as it is.
Yes, I think last week, just like you said, I also heard the news, and it was like the internet just everything else was a secondary matter.
Yeah.
And now everywhere you pass, whether TikTok, everywhere, it was his pictures everywhere. But then again, I think the last movie I watched of from him or with him featuring in was The Weekend Getaway, which even the story talks about. And mostly I also realized that, I think somebody even mentioned it on the internet, that mostly you realize that when he attends some of these um, events, this big events like the awards, mostly he's crowned as best dressed.
Yeah.
And like, best dressed of the
Yeah.
evening, best gentleman, something dressed for the evening and all that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very, very sad to hear that we've lost him. And I like the fact that, Nigerians, I mean, regardless of the fact that I think his allegedly his illness was not known to a lot of people because he didn't want a lot of people around him. I mean, it was like something like a secret,
Yeah.
if I should put it that way. So you realize that some of the Nigerians were coming out to, I mean, share their condolences. Were really hurt to know that, I mean,
They
you've
didn't
been
know about
ill and you kind of didn't want anybody around you. But then again, I mean, regardless of the fact that, I mean, however they feel, I love the fact that they have been very supportive and celebrated a figure like him. And I think a few of the YouTube channels that I follow from Nigeria, a lot of them actually didn't post. I mean, weekly they release maybe movies or talk shows or whatever. A lot of them didn't, I mean, didn't even release anything just to, I mean, get, I mean, how should I put it? Because they didn't release, I mean, they are trying to
Respect their privacy
the
or
fact
something,
that
yeah.
okay, they've lost somebody, and
Yeah.
then they want to
Yeah.
mourn. Good, they want to mourn the demise of their friend, and
Yeah.
it's very sad. So on this note, we just want to say rest in peace to
Yeah.
Alex Ekubo, and for families and friends who are close, we pray that may God grant you that strength. But regardless, I see that in his story, I mean, a brief about him, he actually studied law at the University of Calabar and now moved to, I mean, the entertainment industry, where he went in for the acting, and then, I mean, even featuring in Yemi Alade's. It teaches us that, I mean, regardless, for me, it teaches us that regardless of whatever you studied, you can still come out and still do something you love or get passion for a different area that you think you would want to pursue. And I think that is very commendable, because mostly when people study law, we realize that mostly people would want to shift towards that, terrain, and wouldn't want to, juggle through a lot of things. But seeing that he's done that, he's an actor, featuring in a whole lot of things. Also, we realized that he was into humanitarian as well, and that is very commendable of him. It's just so unfortunate that we lost him too early.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But talking about a lawyer being a movie actor, it happens. If let's say this is a talent. It's a talent, and so you can't hide it. Someone can be so creative and can act for you to think it's a reality, but no, it is part of the talent. And so for us not to hide our talent, I think this is very great. And also it happens vice versa. We see a lot of people from the movie industry now going into other sectors. And so back and forth, there's no crime. But what I'm so surprised about is the disease that killed him, or what killed him. Kidney cancer. This is something we really do not talk about, and you may not even know. Like you made mention, he wants his privacy, so he didn't tell his colleagues. He didn't tell a lot of people, so that they'll be posting, God, speedy recovery, and what a lot of things. He needed his privacy. But then again, we need to talk about these cancer a lot, not just kidney, but a lot of cancer. These are very deadly. Diseases. Some may have it, may not talk about it, and still be acting, and then within few days or weeks you hear that the person is gone. And these are, if you're an actor, you are a celebrity, you have fans following you, have a lot of people following you. So for you to just disappear within a short period of time is also going to affect the people behind, the people who loves you behind. And so we need to talk about these. We need to also focus on the welfare of our actors, our actors, these people. We need to ensure that they are doing checkups. They are going to, because you take they move.
They move around a lot.
They don't come home early. They are always on the move, and all that's trying to make us happy. And so their health, their welfare, everything should be catered for. Like it should be the priority. Of most of the directors, movie managers, and industries. So again, condolences to the family, to the industry, and to ourselves. Some of us, we love his acting, we love his movies, and it's sad to lose such a gem.
Yeah, so it's very sad. I think on this note, that is all for the lifestyle segments, and this has been the Hello Africa Morning Show. My name is Jemima Delademduche, and I did this with,
and I am Isabella Teta Hinakwa. See you again next week.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.